Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're well. You're amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Saturday still, and this is video 2 of 2. That's all for me today. I think unless something interesting happens later, we're going to stick on 2. I did 3 yesterday. Did you see them all? If not, go check them out. But look, this is what we're going to touch on, because before we talk about the things that do absolutely stink in the Jay Slater case, we do have to acknowledge something important, and that is, look, people can just fall. People can just fall. But my issue is when people fall and there are people around them, generally the police get involved and they have questions. And this is what we're going to look at. You may have seen this because this is a bit of a high profile one. So X Factor star Jamie Hensley pens heartfelt tribute after fiance's shock death, aged 33. And it says the X Factor star Jamie Hensley has shared a devastating tribute to his fiancée following his shock death. Oliver Marmon died earlier this month after falling from a third-floor window at a hotel. Emergency services were called to the hotel on Sunday, August the 11th at around 11:30 p.m, where Marmon, aged 33, was pronounced dead 1 hour later. Jamie, who had been in a relationship with Marmon for well over a decade, broke his silence tonight by honouring his late husband-to-be with an Instagram tribute. Alongside a photo of them cozied up on a previous holiday, he wrote, "I'd give anything to spend a lifetime in your sapphire eyes." Fans flocked to the comments to send their condolences, with famous friends also sending love. And there's the picture there. But this is the interesting thing, right? I'm going to just skip through to here, because this is just talking about, you know, the messages that were sent, condolences, and so on and so forth. But this is what we are going to look at. If we scroll down to here, following Marmon's death, Northamptonshire Police launched a murder investigation to establish the full circumstances of the tragedy. So this is where British people get involved, British cops, and they treat it as a potential murder. So a 34-year-old man from Rushden, Northants, believed to be Jamie, was initially arrested on suspicion of murder and held in custody before being released. Police are no longer treating the case as murder, as per the results of a forensic post-mortem. Now, this is something that I find interesting, because I think to myself, if someone falls from a window and it's, you know, they're saying that it's the results of a forensic post-mortem, you're still not. It's like what I spoke about in Anatomy of a Fall. How do you know the person wasn't pushed? And that's always going to be the situation around the Jay Slater case. How do we know Jay Slater wasn't pushed? And the fact that the people around him, around Jay Slater, don't want to ask any questions, that to me, the fact that they've seemingly not even considered that he could have been pushed, that he didn't meet somebody out there or wasn't running away from someone and got into trouble. We don't know what happened out there. It could have been something completely disjointed from the Airbnb and Ayob and Lucy and Brad. He could have been out there and met with somebody else who then put him in a position where he felt scared. We know that he potentially didn't have a phone, so he couldn't speak to anybody to let them know, and he would fall to his death. But the fact nobody's questioning that stinks to me. It stinks, unless everybody's just succumbing to Jay Slater was stupid. He walked himself off a cliff face into a ravine. But yet in here as well, we see that this is initially treated as a murder, because you have someone who is around this person. They then fall, and hold on, let me just go back here. So it says, look, Detective Chief Inspector Johnny Campbell, who led the investigation, said, "This has been a complex and fast-moving investigation. Our thoughts remain with Ollie's family and loved ones at this very difficult time. It is only right that an incident such as this is treated with the utmost seriousness, to make sure we have done all we can to understand what has happened and to get the answers those left behind need and want." And this is what I talk about Like he added that in Marmon's case, the evidence they have examined did not support his death as a homicide. Now they've concluded that, but again, I have to ask the question: how would you not know if he was pushed? And I'm not saying he was, but it's like with the Jay Slater case, as aforementioned. How would you be? How would you now? Like we know there's going to be an inquest into Jay Slater's, but when you factor in that the people who were around Jay Slater, the oddities in it, the decisions that Jay Slater would have had to have made that seem massively out of character. And I believe that Jay Slater's family will again push that in order for this to have been self-inflicted, it does mean that it would have had to have gone against what they believe to be the qualities that Jay would have had to have had. I'm guessing they would turn around and say, well, he was sensible. He was potentially lazy. He wouldn't have, for no reason, decided that an 11-hour walk through, this harsh terrain was ever a good idea. What made him even consider that? When the terrain become difficult, what made him continue to push forward and not think, I'm sacking this shit off and going the other way? And also the people around Jay, why was there no attempt to go and get him if two of the friends spoke to him and he was kind of in a position where at that stage they could have easily just got a taxi and gone and got him, when the alternative was a perilous 11-hour walk? And apparently he was already injured and without water and without a phone. Those things don't make sense. So from an inquest perspective, an investigation perspective, there's a lot of things that I feel authorities would have to take into consideration. But you can't charge anybody, you can't prove anything unless there is evidence. And like in this Marmon's case, he fell seemingly when there was only one other person around him, and he falls from a window and is died. And they take the forensic details. I'm guessing that the injuries sustained, which is going to go down the same route as the line seen in the Jay Slater case, in that he suffered injuries that were consistent from a fall from height. But it's what was the catalyst to that fall from height. And that for me is always going to be the issue in the Jay Slater case. Yes, he potentially, we've been led to believe, even, did you know, for those eagle-eyed out there, authorities in Masca around this, Guardia Civil and that, they never 100% confirmed that Jay Slater did fall. It was never pushed as 100% certainty. They stated that Jay Slater likely fell. Likely, meaning there is an alternative possibility, but there is no proof of it. There is nothing that can solidly say, yes, Jay Slater was pushed. That, what would be the evidence there? How would you ever know? You just wouldn't. Like, and I think this is going to be a real difficult one for the family, because the family know Jay. They know Jay. They know what type of person he is. They know how sensible and stupid he could be, if that's something that they've got to consider. And also the people around him. We touched on this yesterday. There's so much around this case, and that's why we still speak about it. It ain't about clout. It ain't about money. It's about trying to understand something that is close to home that could potentially happen to any of us. If you're a parent, if we've got teenage kids ourselves who are at that age now where they will be looking to potentially go on holiday on their own with friends. And this kind of shit is scary. It is scary, because you have two things here. That is, can you trust your child, even at 19 years old, where you don't really have any control over them? And do you have any kind of ability to get through to them about the dangers and repercussions of stupidity and not sticking together? Or are we trying to normalize issues, and are we seeing, in fact, things that can happen and are very swiftly pushed under the rug and made it look like, and made to look like sorry, that it's the victim's fault. It's those that have done it, and potentially people getting away with murder. Who knows? I don't think we'll ever know. Not in this case. Let me know down below what you think. I'll catch you all in the next one.